Okay. For some reason. Okay. Hey, Melissa, can you let the front desk know that for some reason it seems like it's not working on Union? But if there's a way to message folks, it does look like we're running on YouTube. Okay. Thank you. Okay. All aboard. You okay with that? I can also like put it here if needed. Okay. Okay. Good morning. Hi. I'm so glad you're all here. I got a text from Yesenia that we are $104 short of our fundraising goal, which I will happily make up for, but maybe we'll just exceed it if you want to give any more. Thanks to all who are here, all who gave, and if you're here and you couldn't give, just your here-ness helps to raise awareness. We're fundraising for Puentes de Salud today, whose mission is to collaborate with the local Latin immigrant communities in Philadelphia by addressing immediate health, education, and social service needs, fostering long-term prosperity, and also to create a responsible learning environment for future generations of healthcare providers and educators and artists to explore social justice, structural violence, and their impact on health and marginalized communities. And they're all about building community. So if you want one of these sheets to like learn about what you supported today, they'll be up here for you to take. There's also candles downstairs that they brought to you for being here, so grab a candle on your way out. It's burning on the altar. It kind of smells nice. It smells really nice, actually. It's like my first breath of the morning.
Not to interrupt, but there are about 7 more people that are coming upstairs. Let's make a little space.
So you just need the length of your foot on all 4 sides of your mat, and that might sound like a lot, but we've gotten over 50 people in here easily.
The streaming is working downstairs, it's just
Oh.
not showing up.
Weird. Okay, that's great. Perfect, right there. We can, yeah, you're good. Thank you. We might just need help squeezing them in. They're in the process of, okay. And is there anyone in the room right now from the organization? Oh, do you mind coming up? Do you want to introduce yourself or say anything? I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for being here. Hi.
Hi.
Good morning.
I'm the chair of the board of Puentes de Salud. I've been involved in the organization about 15 years. Was founded by some of my buddies from Haverford College. Two an ER doc and an OB-GYN got together. They got tired of seeing people just walk into the ER already showing disproportionate effects of poverty and hard work and lack of linguistic training. We also have the treasurer from Puentes here with us, Diane Vanderbeek.
Hi, welcome.
But there's a video, when you see the flyer downstairs, if you want to learn more about what we do and how you can help support us in the mission, there's a video that was done by HBO that really goes a little bit more into our history, and you get to follow one of our doctors around and sort of see the social determinants of health and the work we're trying to do and accomplish here in the city. And I don't have to tell you, we all are sort of hopefully afraid almost to turn our phones on every day and see what's happening in America, but the power of groups like this, coming together, doing the right thing for the right reason, that's what we need to see as a country to bring back some of our spirit. So thank you all for coming.
Yeah, thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for all that you do. And that really is the point for us as a community in these times, to just see what kind of positive impact we can make, like right in our neighborhood with our neighbors and in our communities. So again, just so glad you're here, and just like, keep the organization in your mind and your heart beyond today. Spread the word. I notice it all the time. Like I pass it on South Street all the time. I'm like, Puentes, yay. And that there's just work that can and should be done before it gets to the point of crisis, and we really have to like start at home and in our neighborhood. So for the new folks, I see a lot of blue stars. My name's Mariel. Again, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for being here. I'll facilitate. This is Melissa. She assists me in the room, so she'll come around and help you, offer verbal assist, manual assist if you're interested, and teaches a little bit of the class now because she's in our advanced training. And Camden will be on the mat. Your nails look fantastic. For folks at home, we live stream this class, so she's demoing and on the mat for the folks at home, but also if you're new here, you just don't know what I'm talking about, what I just said, have a peek up at Camden, and she conveys with her body what I try to convey with words, but sometimes and often fail. Happy spring ahead. Hope, you know, we lost that hour. It's always, in over 40 years of life on this planet, it never ceases to be so disorienting for me. Come on in. Yeah, we just keep making space. We're like a pour soup in the water model here. Yeah, we could fit a couple up here. It looks like, yeah, there's definitely room in Deborah's row back there. We could fit one like right next to this next one here. And I also am just so proud of us as a community that it's now March, the third month of the year, and we're still doing yoga in large numbers. Like, woohoo us, sustenance. Okay, we're getting a little bit of a late start, so we're just gonna dive in. Make yourself as comfortable as humanly possible. You can sit down or lie down as a way to give yourself a moment to arrive and settle. Notice where you are and how you are. If there's anything in particular that you need or want from your practice of yoga today. Look for your breath. Just by turning your awareness to the breath, notice how naturally the breath begins to deepen and expand. The entire physical practice of yoga is first and foremost in service to the breath, to the gift of life that fills us, enlivens us, surrounds us, and connects us to each other and all that is. And the point of yoga is to fully realize and directly experience this sense, this truth of connection to all that is. To shed and release the feelings of disconnection and separation, and to remember that the gift of life that each breath offers connects us to each other and all that is. And so the physical practice of yoga is a strategy wherein we align ourselves, engage ourselves, and stretch ourselves through aligned engagement in body, mind, and heart, so that the gift of life that each and every breath offers can flow in us, as us, through us, and from us more deeply, more fully, more freely. Imagine that. Invite an even deeper breath in. Feel the inner body expand. And a slower, longer breath out. Feel the outer body soften and settle, becoming more sensitive, more receptive to the energy that fills us, surrounds us, and connects us to each other from heart to heart. The breath ignites the heart, and the splendor of your heart has an opportunity to inform, illuminate, and inspire the faculty of your mind and the agency of your body. And it's here in this gift of conscious breathing embodiment that we have the opportunity here and now together to practice yoga, the practice of connection, of union, and liberation. A practice wherein we discover how to transform suffering, personal and collective, into wisdom, beauty, and sweetness, into intimacy and connection. On an inhale, when you're ready, you can bring your hands together before your heart in Anjali Mudra. If you're reclined and that feels a little weird, you can just rest the palms over the heart center. And we'll set the tone for our practice today by sharing the voices of our hearts together in the sound of one collective Om. And as always, please feel free to join into the sound or let it wash over you. Deep breath in. Bow to your heart and keeping that connection inward unwavering. Gently release the hands, blink open the eyes. If you're reclined, you can roll to one side. We'll meet in a tabletop position. And as you come into tabletop position, find your breath. And as you exhale, round your back. And as you inhale, arch. Follow your breath, not my voice. I'll take it. Notice what you feel, how it feels where you feel it. Listen to your body again, noticing if there's anything in particular that your body needs or wants from your practice today. Oops. Can take a full cycle or two of breath on each side of that stretch now, maybe lingering a little bit more in the extremes, in the polarities, and then making it sort of less extreme as you slowly, linking breath and movement, dial yourself into center, more of a neutral spine position. Take your time getting there, dialing into center. Right about there, walk your hands to the top of your mat if they're not already. Huge breath in, feel the breath lift the underarms up away from the ground. Keep that, and as you exhale, send your hips towards your heels for puppy pose. Knees and feet hips width apart. Breathe into what can't be seen but can be felt. If you want more, you can inhale towards table just in order to walk your knees back a little further to stretch your stance, just if it feels appropriate. And let the breath be as deep and as full as humanly possible for you in this moment. Breathing through the nose, of course, sinuses and allergies permitting. Inhale to table. Exhale to downward facing dog. Just a sec. Pedal your feet a little bit from side to side. Stretch through the soles of the feet, the backs of the legs. Notice what you feel.
I'm taking over. I'm still here. From downward facing dog, inhale, shift your body forward to plank. Stay here for a beat. So notice in your high plank, if your shoulders are forward of your wrists, can you walk your feet in and vice versa? The length of your high plank is about the length of your down dog. So on an inhale, bend your knees deep, and exhale, send your hips up and back to downward facing dog. Pedal it out here from side to side. Find length and extension through each leg. On your exhale, come to stillness. Inhale, bend your knees deep. Exhale, step it up to the top of the mat and forward, fold over your legs. Feet are as wide as hips width distance and parallel to one another. All 10 toes face forward. Ground down through your feet. Inhale, come up to stand. Arms lift, gaze lifts, reach up. Exhale, Uttanasana, hinge from your hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, neutral spine. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands, step back to a high plank position. We'll stay here for a beat. So again, shoulders are on top of wrists. Knees can be up or down here. And as you press down through your hands, keep that as you breathe space underneath your armpits. Shrug your shoulders up and back. Keep that, and on an exhale, lower down, knees, chest, chin. Legs come long behind you, toes flat to the mat. Inhale, hug your shoulder blades together, curl up for cobra. Take one breath here. And on your exhale, lower back down. Inhale, press yourself up through table or plank. Exhale, send your hips back to downward facing dog. In down dog, press down through your hands to lift through your hips and extend through the backs of your legs. We'll come into some standing poses. Inhale, your right foot lifts up and back. Exhale, step through to low lunge. Inhale, reach your arms up to high crescent lunge. Exhale, let your front thigh descend. From here, if you need to widen your front foot towards the mat's edge, give yourself that space here in the front of the body. Now think about your back leg. Lift your back heel, back knee, and back thigh higher. Think straight and strong through the back leg. As you inhale, reach up through the fingertips, and exhale, bend deep into the front knee. Nice. Now on an inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, your hands lower down to frame your front foot. Step back to downward facing dog. Take a moment here in down dog. Let's do the other side. Inhale, your other foot lifts up and back. Exhale, step through to low lunge. Inhale, reach your arms up to high crescent lunge. Exhale, let your front thigh descend. Widen your front foot as needed, and think about tacking your right hip forward and your left hip back, so your hips are square towards the front of the room. Now keep that, and from the core of your pelvis, hug muscle to bone. Imagine hugging your feet towards one another, like you could crinkle the mat between both feet. Keep that, and inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, your hands lower down, frame your front foot, step back to downward facing dog. From down dog, you can stay here, or inhale, shift forward to plank. Exhale, lower down to the mat in the style of you. Inhale, curl up to cobra or up dog. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale, press yourself up through table or plank. Exhale, send your hips back to downward facing dog. Warrior two. No, I just did lunge. Yeah, okay. Inhale, lift your right foot up and back. Exhale, step through to low lunge. Ground your back foot down, climb your forearm to your thigh for extended side angle, Parsva Konasana. Stretch your stance. Walk your back foot back until your front thigh is parallel with the mat beneath you. Front knee and toes point straight ahead. Keep that and press your forearm into your thigh and your thigh back into your forearm. Inhale, hug your legs towards one another. And then exhale, extend strong from the tops of your fingertips. On an inhale, lift arms up to a T for warrior two. Exhale, bend deep into your front knee. Inhale, hug your feet towards one another. Hug muscle to bone up to the core of your pelvis. And then exhale from the bottom tips of your shoulder blades. Extend strong through your fingertips. Inhale, push your front leg straight. Exhale, hand finds a block for triangle pose, Trikonasana. Block goes on the inside or outside of your front foot. Inhale to hug your feet towards one another, and then exhale, lean back onto your shoulder blades. Keep a soft bend in the knee if you find yourself hyperextending. On an exhale, your hands lower down to frame your front foot. Step your foot back to downward facing dog. Take a moment here in down dog. Maybe grab a sip of water if you haven't had any water yet today. Like I often don't drink water for the first 4 hours of the day. This isn't about me. Inhale, your other foot lifts up and back. Exhale. Yeah. Exhale, step it through to low lunge. Ground your back foot down for Parsvakonasana, extended side angle, forearm to thigh. Inhale, ground down through your feet, and exhale, hug your legs towards one another. Hug muscle to bone, and keep that as you reach from the bottom tip of your shoulder blade out through your fingertips. On an inhale, arms lift to a T, warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. Exhale, bend deep into your front knee. Look at your front knee and toes and make sure that your knee's on top of your ankle, and keep that as you ground your feet down into the mat and hug your legs towards one another. Keep that and breathe your shoulders up and back. Exhale, extend strong through your fingertips. Inhale, push your front leg straight. Exhale, find a block for triangle pose. Keep a soft bend in the front knee. And as you keep that soft bend, engage your legs towards one another. From the core of your pelvis, hug muscle to bone and extend strong through your top hand. On an exhale, your hand lowers down to frame your front foot, ditch your blocks, step back to downward facing dog. From down dog, you can stay here or inhale, shift forward to plank. Exhale, lower down to the mat in the style of you. Inhale, curl up for cobra or up dog. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale, press yourself up through plank. Exhale, send your hips back to downward facing dog.
Sounds good, right? Can we just like get a moment, like a butt shake as a round of applause here? I'm a proud yoga mama. Find your breath. Slow, deep, full breath in. Take it to heart. The breath ignites the heart. And as you exhale from the heart center, the center of your chest, push through your arms to launch through your hips. Press back through the thighs and down through the heels. And as you claw your fingertips, can you spread your toes and feel all the connections between fingertips and toes? On your inhale, float the right leg high to the sky. As you exhale, step it through to lunge. Right knee and toes point straight ahead. Inhale, big breath in, reach up. And on your exhale, you're going to take a big springy step forward to balance on your right leg. Exhale, step it back to lunge. Feel both feet on the ground. Big breath in, linking breath and movement here. On the exhale, spring forward to balance on your right foot. Feel the movement in your standing foot and leg. So try not to resist it, deny it, or avoid it. Put a little softness in the knee and allow yourself to receive movement in your standing foot and leg. Take a big step back to lunge. Feel both feet on the ground. Huge breath in. And now one more time. Exhale, spring forward. This time cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Flex the left foot and sit deep into chair pose. Reach forward, hinge forward like you're reaching towards the front of the room to send your hips towards the back of the room. On the inhale, rise up. Exhale, thread it back to lunge. Huge breath in, both feet on the ground. Hallelujah. As you exhale, plant your hands. Downward facing dog. Pedal the feet a little from side to side. Notice any newfound space through the soles of the feet, the backs of the legs. Out of curiosity, did anyone get burning yet in the standing leg? Okay, some yes, some no. Ha ha ha, just kidding. On your inhale, float the left leg to the sky. As you exhale, catch your lunge. Inhale, reach the arms up, reach up, stretch up. Feel both feet on the ground. As you exhale, spring forward, balancing on your left foot. Balance is not necessarily the absence of imbalance. On the exhale, step it back to lunge. Long, huge step back, big breath in. Exhale, spring forward. Let it be dynamic. The more you receive the movement, the imbalance, the more balanced and still you become. Take it back to lunge. Huge breath in, reach through the fingertips. And on an exhale, follow your breath, not my voice. Big step forward, this time crossing right ankle over left thigh and sitting deep into chair pose, like pigeon chair. Think stick your butt out as you take it back and reach forward. And imagine you can energetically help square the hips of the person in front of you, their right hip forward, like you're pushing their right foot forward and pulling their left hip back. And that's gonna help you do the same. And the person behind you is there helping energetically as well, because we're connected. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, thread it back to lunge. Big breath in, both feet on the ground. Exhale to plant your hands, downward facing dog. Locate your strap so it's within hand's reach. Take your feet as wide as your mat and walk your hands back towards your feet. So you come into a standing forward fold near the back of your mat with your strap handy. With the feet as wide as the mat, put a bend in your legs. Make your feet parallel from the center of the ankles through the base of the second toes, which for most humans, which I'm pretty sure we all are part of, the human race, we need to take our heels wider until it feels slightly pigeon-toed. Now with a bend in the legs, take the strap behind your back for a shoulder stretch. So the backs of your hands are sort of at or near the back of the waist. Elbows bend, palms to the sky. You can wrap your hands around the strap so you're gripping the strap. Been really curious lately about grip strength and longevity, so grip the strap. Draw the shoulder blades together. Bend the elbows, think shoulder blades together in the uppermost part of the back, like puppy skin. And then as the shoulder blades hug together, start to tug the strap apart. As you inhale, hug the feet to the midline and reach your arms skyward. And as you exhale, anchor your tailbone down. Let the arms get heavy overhead like wet branches. With the heels anchored, bend your knees and tip a little bit more into the balls of your feet. And as you inhale, hug your feet towards each other, hug your shoulder blades towards each other. And with the exhale, press the thigh bones to the back of the room and the forearms towards the floor overhead. One more breath. On your exhale, release the strap. Walk your hands back out to downward facing dog. And lower your knees to the earth. Bring a block on its widest width, wide and flat, to the very top of your mat. And if you're broad across the shoulders, you might take like a block and a half, and you're gonna come onto your forearms and squeeze the block between the palms of your hands. So lower your elbows to the ground so you're on your forearms. And then when you squeeze the block, can you feel your biceps engage? Those are the muscles of the upper inner arms. So if you just kind of place the hands, the inner arms are soft. When you squeeze the block, your biceps engage. Walk your knees back a little bit, tuck your toes, big breath in, shrug your shoulders. And as you exhale, lift your knees and hips up to downward facing dog on your forearm. Sometimes we call this dolphin pose. Now, if you want more, walk your feet towards the front of your mat, shoulders over elbows, squeeze the elbows in, press the forearms down, and squeeze the block like you're trying to shorten it. Come onto your tippiest of tippy toes. Think tushy to the sky. Shrug your shoulders. And send your upper back right between your shoulder blades towards your thighs. Think thighs to the sky. Yes, upper back towards the back of the room. Try it like this. Yeah, there you go. That'll be better. On the exhale, walk it all the way back to forearm plank. Walk your feet back, but reach your heart center forward. One more of the deepest, fullest breaths. And as you exhale, lower the knees, the thighs, the pelvis. Questions on that? Anyone feel a little disoriented there, like losing an hour? Something got lost. It's the weirdest thing. And you know what is so fascinating to me? The one thing, like across lines of political difference that we can all agree in is that we don't need daylight savings anymore. It's the one thing we could agree on, and yet we still fucking have it. Like, what? It's bizarre. It's a bizarre world we live in. That's why I do yoga, just to live with it all, to get by and get through. So we're gonna do dolphin pose again. There will be an option to extend one leg to the sky or both legs to the sky. If you want help with that, call one of us over. If you're not familiar with that, I don't recommend it. We're gonna do one leg at a time. For most of us, recommend to put one leg down before the other leg goes up. I'll talk you through all that, but the key this time is to feel as though you're standing in and on and from your heart center. So you have your physical heart slightly to the right of your physical heart, between the thoracic spine and the breastbone is the heart center, what's sometimes referred to as the Anahata chakra or the Hridaya, which means, well, it's the indwelling light. It's the source of the indwelling light. And so we want to seek the direct experience of that space within by standing in and on and from it, okay? I'll talk you through it. The cues, the refinements matter, and they might feel counterintuitive. Everything I offer is an invitation, not an obligation, so feel free to take it or leave it, but also not to confuse like the awkwardness or the discomfort with something that's bad. Just be open. Let's come into tabletop position. Again, especially male-bodied individuals might prefer a block and a half. Tall people, like I know I prefer a block and a half. So it'd be like one block on its longest, lowest height, and then the other block next to it lengthwise on its slender setting. Bring your forearms to the floor and hug the block between the palms till you feel the upper inner arms fire. Those are your love guns. Your arms are the agents of your heart. Hug the elbows in. Shrug the shoulders. That's the part that can feel kind of counterintuitive. And then lift the knees and hips up and back to forearm dog, dolphin. Lift your heels as high as you can and tiptoe your feet towards the front of the mat. And as the feet walk forward, the key is to not let the upper back come forward. Send the upper back back. Lift the heels, tiptoe forward. Press the upper back towards the back of the room. Shrug the shoulders. Feel that. Keep that. If you want more, float the right leg straight up to the sky. If so, turn the right toes in. Heel to butt cheek. Yep, come on to the tippiest of tippy toes. Heel to butt cheek. Yes, squeeze your right knee more to the midline, more. Now push your right heel to the sky like you're raising the roof. Good, float the right foot down and rest between sides. Child's pose or something like it. Any questions on that? Why? Yeah. I think that's a great question. So we're not the model where the teacher is there to like give you the answer. So I think the most important thing is that you ask yourself why, and there's no like higher, I think, spiritual inquiry. But I could tell you my why. Do you want to know my why? Because I've been doing this for over 2 decades now, and most people, not to project, but most people get way bored of it way before that. Like you've been doing it a long time too. The why has to be pretty complex to stay interested. You can sit back on your heels. So I think that the world we live in, what we experience, and probably largely what brings, I bet every single one of us has a story of brokenheartedness that somehow got us to our yoga mats, unless someone dragged you here, but that's also a different story. Similar story, same story, different story. Why Pincha Mayurasana or any of these inverted poses? I think we live in a world that feels like so upside down and inside out and fucked up, and that yoga is a practice of personal sustainability that is one of the coping strategies for getting by and getting through in a world that is so topsy-turvy. And in a world that is so topsy-turvy, I know I find like it's like nowadays, and I know this is happening collectively, socially, culturally, politically, but it's also like we're all also living in our everyday lives of interpersonal relationships, which are at times for all of us super fucked up because we're the yoga of the householders. I'm sorry I'm cursing a lot today. I'm from New Jersey, and when I'm tired, I curse more, and we lost an hour. They took an hour. I know we're gonna like it when it's like light out till 7, so I'll be in a better mood later than I am right now. But anyway, the world that we live in breaks my heart, and for a long time, you know, I was like coming of age around 9/11. Anyone else? Like so much alienation, so much disconnection, so much disharmony. And it made me depressed and anxious, and it wasn't any good for the world. I'm not dismissing anyone's depression or anxiety. That's a part of us that we do yoga to embrace and embody and accept, but not in a way that it dictates us or governs us, in a way that it inspires us and motivates us. Like, we're not trying to eliminate those parts of ourselves. We're humans. So I was already very into yoga and meditation at that time, but what I realized is that I needed my yoga and meditation practices in order to sustain feeling connected to my heart and all that is, in spite of a world that feels so disconnected and alienated. That if I felt like that, I wasn't contributing anything to a world that was already like that. Does that make sense? And so for me, it was never about being able to do Pinchamayurasana. It was about me doing a pose that felt really hard and borderline. I don't want this for anyone, I don't teach like this, but in the tradition that I grew up in, borderline disempowering to become empowered in spite of feeling disempowered. I guess that kind of works today too, though. So I'm glad that you asked me why, because I think it helps to like go like, why? Like, I want to feel like I can stand in and on and from my heart no matter what I'm going through. Like when shit hits the fan, fluency in yoga is the ability to make the best out of the worst case scenario. In order to do that, you have to stay connected to your breath, which keeps you connected to your heart when every other circumstances is trying to pull you out of center. When every other circumstance is trying to make you dissociate, avoid, bypass, our yoga is about staying connected to the heart. So then we're gonna do it one more time, just I think it's left leg up. And the key is to not get caught up in the left leg up. The key is to not lift the left leg until you feel pretty darn steady, not perfectly steady, but pretty steady in your connection to your breath and your heart. And then it's from the heart. You think of the leg as not connected to the hip. Think of the leg as connected all the way up into your, like through your guts into your heart, and you're extending yourself from your heart, not your foot or the periphery. We'll come into tabletop position. That doesn't have to be your why, by the way, and if it's not, I'm not offended if you never come back, but like try the other yoga teachers because they're really great too and different. In a nutshell, the why is to sustain connection to your heart where the voice of the true teacher resides, always present, intrinsically peaceful, utterly powerful. The source of divine luminosity and virtuosity is never further than your heart, which is never further than your breath. And so we practice in order to directly experience this aspect of ourselves and to sustain our awareness of and connection to this aspect of ourselves. Come on to your forearms. When you hug the block, that is a resource that helps you feel more connected to your center. You hug to the midline. It draws your awareness from periphery to center, closer to the heart. Tuck the toes, lift the knees and hips up. Like downward dog on your forearms. And then you walk your feet forward and press your upper back to the back of the room just until you feel yourself dial in to the sense of standing in and on and from the heart. Can you feel that? Nice, Eileen. Is it okay to touch?
Yes.
Gorgeous. And then if and when you're ready, you can extend the left leg to the sky and lift the right heel higher and pull back to the back of the room so you're not losing that sense of awareness of and connection to the very bottom of your heart. And rest. Did it feel different, easier, harder? It's also the like connecting into the really like bottom of your heart center. It's like, it's so deep. That's a scary place to almost turn towards. But the more you turn towards it, like the brighter, the lighter you become. We're coming to downward dog. And have your blocks high at the top of the mat, in front of the mat, on their highest height. On your inhale, we're going to float the right leg to the sky, and with your exhale, catch your lunge. And walk the blocks forward out in front of you on their highest height, and take a big step forward and up for supported warrior 3. So your hips stay square here. Wrap your left hip point towards the earth and tuck your right hip crease back, right hip crease towards the back of the room. Lean into your blocks. Push your blocks down and forward so much you can draw your bottom ribs and belly in and up. So like you push the blocks down and forward and you draw the center of your being in and up. Flex your back foot. Everyone turn your back toes in more so that your back knee and foot is pointing towards the earth. And now draw your heel to your butt cheek. Yeah, like try to touch your butt cheek with your heel. And now push your heel up towards the sky to straighten your back leg. Woo! Turn your back toes in, right hand to right hip. Pull your right hip crease back. Draw your right shoulder up and back. And from the right waistline twist, from the left waistline twist to the right, draw the right shoulder blade to the spine. Keep pulling the right hip crease back. And as you inhale, here's the key, squeeze the back leg more to the right and then lean back on your shoulder blades. Inhale to untwist. Exhale, left foot meets the right foot and step the right foot back to lunge. Bring your blocks back inside your front foot. Lower your back knee down. Blocks on their highest height inside the front leg. You can pad the back knee with a blanket as needed. And then bending your back leg. Let me just take a moment. You don't want to be on the kneecap. On your back leg, be right above the kneecap on the base of the thigh. And you could pad with a blanket if it feels kind of bony to bamboo, unpleasant. Bend your back leg, heel to butt cheek, and with your right hand, find your right foot. If you feel steady, bring your left hand to your left thigh. If not, just keep left hand to a block or the floor. And wherever you are, however you choose to be, as you inhale, pull the back knee forward. As you exhale, slide your bottom ribs back, shoulders back, head back, sort of lean back and bend the front leg deeper. I think we're in this together, yeah? Gently release the back foot. Bring your blocks out in front of you. Take a big step forward and up, supported warrior 3. Turn your back toes, your back foot in. Push into the blocks to lift the front of the pelvis, the front of the rib cage towards the sky. Push the blocks down and forward. That will help. Turn your back toes in, like way more, way, way more. And now heel to butt cheek. Square your hips more. Is it okay to touch? Is it okay to touch? Is it okay to touch you? I'm sorry. Okay. You're going to go this way. I know it's totally different. And then heel to butt cheek, flex your back foot and try to raise the roof with your back heel. Push me towards the sky. Yes, yes, yes. Think right hip towards the floor, right heel to the sky. That'll keep you busy. And as you push through the right heel, straighten the right leg. Yeah, raise the roof. Left hand to left hip crease, tack it back. Use your left hand like to really crank the left hip towards the back of the room. Draw the left shoulder blade up and back. And here's the key. As you inhale with all your power, squeeze the back leg to the midline. Draw to the center. And as you exhale, lean back over your shoulder blades to open your heart. Inhale, squeeze the back leg to the midline. Exhale, lean back over your shoulder blades. Inhale to untwist. Exhale, big step back to lunge. Whew, that makes us sweat. Lower the back knee down. Oops, just kidding. Step the back. Is that second side? I want you to be on your second side. Some of you are, some of you aren't. So we'll step the left leg back. Pad with a blanket as needed. Walk your blocks inside your front leg. And then as you bend the back leg heel to butt cheek with your left hand, bind yourself to your back foot and bring your right hand to your right thigh. So notice if like the front of the pelvis is tipping forward, the belly, the center is dropping forward, the bottom ribs are dropping forward. That's our human tendency. We're gonna dial into center. As you inhale, pull the back knee forward. And as you exhale, think tailbone down, belly up, ribs back, shoulders back, head back, lean back towards the back of the room. And keeping that, let the top of the front thigh descend. Breathe into what can't be seen, but can be felt, deepening the awareness of the interior landscape, the light of awareness penetrating the interior landscape. Gently release, downward facing dog. So the standing in and on and from our hearts comes easier to some than others. A sense of feeling grounded comes easier to the others than to the some. I don't know if that made any sense. But that one, if you're going like why on that sequence, it's to like stay grounded, to be able to stay tethered in and of a world that is so beautiful and so repulsive at the same time. To stay grounded in a place like that. It has both, to remember that it has both. On your inhale, we're gonna float the right leg to the sky. And as you exhale, step it through to lunge. Inhale, reach the arms up. Now let's just start by seeing that the right knee and toes point straight ahead. We don't have to be on a balance beam here. The right foot is in line with your right hip. Right knee and toes point straight ahead. Big breath in. As you exhale, take a big step forward to balance on your right foot. We celebrated the great night of Shiva just a week or so ago, so we're going to do Shiva's pose that we see on the altar up front. It's called Nattarajasana. We're going to do baby Nattarajasana, baby dancer. And so the dance implies that there's movement in the standing leg. Heel to butt cheek, and with your left hand, find the left foot behind you. Activate the left foot. So the left foot is not in Shavasana. Can you squeeze the left knee in and turn your left foot out? And then a little softness in your standing leg. Hinge halfway forward as though you're about to rest your right palm on a countertop. And then imagine your rest palm on a countertop. Can you press the right palm down to lift the rib cage up? And as you inhale, squeeze the back knee to the midline. And as you exhale, kick the foot back to the hand. Everyone can bring your back knee way more to the right, like 1,000 times more than you think, and then kick your foot back. Good. Release the left foot. Take a big step back to lunge. Both feet on the ground. Big breath in. Exhale, plant the hands. Downward facing dog. Baby dancer. Lower the knees down, sit back on the heels. So I'm contemplating this. I've been thinking about teaching this philosophical content ahead of my teacher, Michelle Johnson, coming here for a workshop in May, I think. Has anyone heard of the kleshas? They're the afflictions. They're considered the 5 afflictions in the yoga tradition. They're in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. And in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, which we were talking a lot about Patanjali earlier in the year, he's serpent from the waist down, human from the waist up. Especially in talking about the year of the wood snake this year, we were referring to Patanjali quite a bit. Patanjali is the incarnation of Vishnu's serpent couch, Ananta or Adishesha. He's Shesha, Adi, they all have many names. So if you have the Yoga Sutras, you could look this up in part 2 of the Yoga Sutras. The tantric tradition takes a sort of different practice with the kleshas. Kleshas just mean afflictions. And there's 5 afflictions, and I think I talked about it a little bit in the opening. Ignorance is the first one, avidya. And if you notice, so we just did the pose that's named for this icon. This is called Shiva Nataraja, the Lord of the Cosmic Dance of Yoga. It's like our version today of what would be like a photograph or a snapshot. It's a wild, ecstatic dance, and it's like, I always picture nowadays, like in the club, like when someone takes that like overhead shot, like this is what you get. Haven't been to a club in a long time. But that idea of like the ecstatic dance where all else is forgotten. And if you look closely, and you're welcome to come up and look anytime, it's like not sacrilege, you could touch. Also, it looks like someone might have cleaned him recently, probably for Shivaratri, which makes me happy because I didn't do it. He's standing on this demon underneath. And the demon is known as Apasmara, and he's the demon of forgetfulness and ignorance. And that like ignorance is such a feature of our human experience, and it's like an aspect of ourselves that we tend to avoid or deny. And it is certainly like a huge source of suffering in our lives, personally and collectively. I think so much of what we see in the world just is rooted in ignorance, and so there is value and virtue in transcending it in some regard. But in this practice of this pose, the ignorance is actually what upholds the dance, that in order to be in a state of bliss or of ecstasy that is not a bypass, but is like just a moment that brings us in touch with something that is part of our true nature, that bliss is part of our nature. In a moment of bliss, I might add, like also in moments of rage, it's actually the possessed state. All else is forgotten. Like all else must be forgotten in order to have that taste of bliss. I think that like when we're in a standing balancing poses, so much of our tendencies is to like be rigid and contract, right? And like, I gotta like get this balance. But to just on the second side, bring to it like more of an openness, of a playfulness, of like, how do you dance when no one's looking? Like just forget about the room. I'll give the technique because like that's what I'm here to do, but like even forget about the technique and just turn to your breath and receive the instability, because a dancing state is not a stable state. So it's like a contradiction, and the point of practicing the pose is to embody and to embrace the contradiction. Okay, so like, could you forget everything on the second side? The highest sense, and just trust, like, it'll be there when we feel both feet on the ground again, for better and for worse. Downward facing dog. That the ignorance upholds the dance, that in order to remember that our intrinsic nature is blissful, it's called Ananda, the Ananda Tandava, the possessed state of bliss, all else is forgotten. All else is momentarily ignored in order to remember our true nature, which is said to sear the psyche like the surface of the sun. And then that leaves an impression when we come back to reality, when we come home from the club. On the inhale, float the right leg to the, is that true? Left leg. Left leg to the sky. Exhale, catch your lunge. On the inhale, reach up, stretch up. And on first, just like line it up. See that the front knee and toes point straight ahead. So you start with a good foundation, build on a good foundation, and then as you exhale, spring forward. With your right hand, find your right foot behind you. Draw the right shoulder blade up and back so the chest, the lungs, the heart open. And then a little softness in the standing leg, action in the back foot. Flex the foot, spread the toes. And as you hug the back knee to the midline, hinge forward. Imagine that you are pressing the left palm into a countertop into a windowsill as though the air was as solid as a counter. And as you press the palm down, hug the back knee in and kick the foot back. Focus the gaze on one steady spot on the floor out in front of you. As you inhale, hug the back knee in. As you exhale, kick the foot back. And then release the foot. Take a big step back to lunge. Both feet on the ground, big breath in. Anyone get burning on the standing leg? It's in a ring of fire, by the way. Plant the hands, downward dog. Inhale to plank. Exhale for Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale for Cobra, Cobra Dog, or Up Dog. Hug the heels towards each other here. Yes, press the inner edges of the hands down and pull the hands towards the feet to slide the heart forward and up. One more breath. Exhale, downward dog. On the inhale, float the right leg to the sky. Exhale, step it through to lunge. Inhale to reach the arms up, right knee and toes point straight ahead. Exhale, spring forward, standing on the right leg. Left heel to butt cheek, left hand finds the left foot behind you. Turn the left toes out as you hug the left knee in. Can you lift the left shoulder up away from the ground and draw the left shoulder blade to the spine? Slide the palate back, the right arm back. And now hinging at your hips, go halfway forward. Squeeze the left knee in as you kick the foot back. One breath. Exhale, release, big step back to lunge. Huge breath in, both feet on the ground. Exhale, plant your hands, follow your breath, not my voice, downward facing dog. Breath to heart, heart to mind, mind to body. The breath ignites the heart, and the splendor of your heart illuminates your mind and your body. And here in this gift of embodiment, this ring of fire, as you inhale, float the left leg to the sky. Exhale, catch your lunge. Inhale, reach the arms up, follow your breath. On your exhale, big step forward to balance. With your right hand, find your right foot behind you. Activate the right foot, turn your right toes to the person on your right, and hug your right knee to the person on your left. Your right knee hugs to the person on your left, and your foot turns to the person on your right. And hinge halfway forward, keeping that connection of, that awareness of those around you. They are not separate. We are a garland. The breath connects us from heart to heart. Your inhale ignites your heart. Your exhale ignites your neighbor's heart. And take a big step back to lunge. Huge breath in, both feet on the ground. On your exhale, plant your hands. Downward facing dog. Inhale to plank. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale for Cobra. Extra breath here, up dog if you love it. Exhale to your belly. You can pause there or roll onto your back. We'll be here about like 3 to 5 breaths. Supine or prone. Prone is belly to the floor, resting in the lap of the earth, feeling the breath in the back and sides of your waist. Supine is rolling onto your back and letting your back body drop into the lap of the earth, feeling the breath and the rise and fall of your belly in your pelvis. Let's say even here, like 2 or 3 more of the deepest, fullest breaths that require the least amount of effort. Okay, from here, we'll roll onto the back and have your props within hand's reach. So like definitely be able to reach for a strap and a block. Knees bent, feet on the floor. Have your knees and feet hips width apart, feet parallel. So again, it'll feel like slightly pigeon-toed, toes feeling slightly turned in. And then bend your elbows alongside your waist. And as you press the elbows down, lift the chest up and wriggle the shoulder blades together to the spine so that the shoulder blades create like a little nest or a cradle on the upper back. As you press the center back of the skull down and press the elbows down, stand through your feet to lift your hips up. Lift your heels up. Bring your knees towards each other. And as you press the center back of the skull down, the elbows down, push the balls of the feet down and forward to send your heart forward the opposite direction. And from the palate, extend out through your knees and down through your heels. As you anchor through the heels, you can extend the arms and press the palms down. You can hold the edges of your mat and sort of pull the mat towards your feet to curl the shoulder blades in a little deeper. And if it feels accessible, you might interlace your hands underneath and press your wrist knobs down. Press your forearms down, press your wrist knobs down. Now, if you're a glutton for like a huge shoulder stretch heart opener with the hands interlaced, this is for some, not all, you might lower your hips onto your forearms. Otherwise, unclasp your hands and release. And then gently release the clasp. That was bridge pose. Bridge pose is one of my all-time favorite poses. My why for bridge pose is that it reminds me that every single one of us is a bridge. Every single one of us is an instrument of and for connection. We are here to uphold and sustain and as needed restore connection. That doesn't mean that we're immune from disconnection. For the next one, bring the feet together, legs together, bend the elbows alongside, press the elbows down to puff up the chest, the heart, and wriggle the shoulder blades together. And then stand through your feet to lift your hips up for bridge pose. You can bring the palms to rest anywhere on the midsection. You can extend the arms. You can interlace the hands, legs together. Good. And now bend the left knee in. Hug the right knee to the midline and extend your left heel to the sky. As you inhale, hug the right knee, the bottom knee in. And as you exhale, push the right foot down and forward to raise the roof with the left heel. One more breath. Exhale, lower the left foot down, lower the hips down. Can you see how that was the same pose we did standing balancing on one leg, but on our backs now? Same exact pose, just different angle of vision, different perspective. Legs together, bend the elbows alongside, press the elbows down to lift up through the chest, lungs, and heart. Press the center back of the skull down, and then stand through your feet to lift your hips up. Walk your feet in and back so that they're like a little bit closer to your tush, more underneath your knees, not too close. Just some of you, your feet are forward of your knees. We want the knees right over the ankles. And now bring the feet together, hug the knees and thighs together, bend your left knee in, and extend your left heel to the sky. Bend your right knee in and extend your right heel to the sky. Find your breath. So the awareness all wants to go to the right leg, which when we were standing was our standing leg. Bring your awareness to your standing leg, which is your back leg, your left leg. And as you inhale, squeeze the bottom knee into the middle. And as you exhale, push that foot down and forward to raise the roof with your lifted heel. One more breath like that, yes. And as you exhale, foot to the floor, hips to the floor. Take your feet, knees bent, feet as wide as the mat. Let the knees rest against each other at the midline. One-legged bridge. Okay, bend the elbows alongside the waist, press the elbows down to puff up the chest, wriggle the shoulder blades together so they touch the upper back. They touch together. And as you press the elbows down and the center back of the skull down, ever so gently and slightly lift the chin to open the throat so that you can drink the breath in and whisper the breath out, and remind yourself that this entire physical practice of yoga is first and foremost in service to the breath, to the gift of life, the energy of life that fills us, surrounds us, and connects us. And we do this so that it can flow in us, as us, through us, from us, and really all in between us more fully, more deeply, more freely. Bring your legs together, knees over ankles. Bend your left leg in and press your left heel to the sky. Press your elbows down, press your head down, and stand through your right foot to lift your hips up. Hug your right knee in and press your right foot down and forward. If you want more big if, you can take your hands outside your ears as wide as the mat, and as you push through your right foot, push through your arms to come into Urdhva Dhanurasana. You could also put that foot down in the in-between and then extend it up once you're in. On the exhale, lower down, follow your breath to the lap of the earth. Nice, Camden. What?
I was just watching her, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Questions? Nice, Desiree. Gorge. We good? Okay, second side. So with one foot on the ground, which again I just think is in a lot of ways more of a metaphor for how and where we find ourselves. It's not that stable. So we have to become the source of our own stability. Press the elbows down, press the center back of the skull down, get grounded wherever you can. Backs of the arms, elbows, back of the skull. Bend the right leg in, is that true? Press the right heel to the sky. And then push through your left foot to lift the hips, to raise the roof. As you inhale, hug the left knee to the midline. Keep hugging to the midline. As you exhale, push the left foot down and forward to get more stable through one leg. You can stay here or place your hands outside your ears as wide as the mat. And as you push through the left leg, press up to Urdhva Dhanurasana, or bring the foot down to go up with both feet on the ground, and then maybe extend one leg to the sky. One more breath, deepest and fullest. And then slowly with your exhale, we meet all together in the lap of the earth, where we are all held together, where we are deeply interconnected. Can windshield wiper the legs from side to side, slowly or more dynamic, just at whatever pace feels good for you in your lower back. You can maybe slow it down, speed it up, see what you like. Then we'll meet in center and insert one block on its lowest height underneath your hips, so hips on the block. Moving towards a supported bridge pose with an option to the inversion. It's like Viparita Karani, the legs will come up. So we don't want the block underneath the spine. Will you help Shoshi? We want it really underneath the hips, so that the top of the block in relationship to your body is lower than any vertebra other than your sacrum, which feels like almost like the palm of your hand. There's a section of fused bone at the lowest part of your back, the lowest part of your spine, pretty close at or near your butt crack, technically. Now, notice where the block is. Stand through your feet to lift your hips up, and can you fit another block on top, like 2 slices of bread? And if that feels too high, then ditch the second block and just turn the first block up 1 notch. You got it? Does it feel okay? Notice if the feet are turning out, the knees are turning out, turn your toes in a little bit, hug your knees in, and push through your legs. And if you get a little more space between you and the block, maybe the top block turns up a notch, or you fit that second block in. Now the key is that you feel really stable on the blocks. The blocks are extrinsic tools or mechanisms of support. When we take the extrinsic support, it's gotta feel stable, okay? If it's making you feel unstable, remove some of the prop until you feel more stable. Mostly the props are there to create more stability. That should be the point, yeah? And if they feel stable, bring your feet off the floor, knees directly over your hips. Try not to let the knees come forward of the hips. Elizabeth, you can back your heels up a little bit right there, yeah. There's multiple Elizabeths, so there's probably like way more than I even realized. And then flex the feet and think, can you raise the roof more with your heels? The tendency here is for like the pubic bone to pull towards the navel. This will be really nerdy. Bend your legs a little bit and can you lengthen your pubic bone towards the ground and then extend up through the heels more. And that'll actually bring like a little bit more hip opening and hamstring opening to this. Breath slow and smooth and full and deep. And again, it's an inversion, but it should feel a little less confusing than like the dolphin pose that we did with one leg up. And the point of the inversion is to get, to cultivate some comfort, some confidence, some courage when we're in situations that feel upside down. In other words, when we're in situations in life that are totally disorienting, we're cultivating a sense of sort of personal sustainability, sustaining our awareness of and connection to the breath, which sustains our awareness of and connection to the heart in a disoriented state or position. Bend the knees. Now here's the key. Zip lock the legs together and simultaneously can you slowly lower both feet to the floor at the same time. And as you ground through the legs, hug the knees to the midline, stand through the feet to lift the hips up, remove the blocks to the side, and let your pelvis, let your lap drop into the lap of the earth. Bring your feet about as wide as the mat and let the knees rest against each other at the midline. Hands to the belly, slower, deeper, fuller breath in. And as you exhale, a slow, long breath out. As you inhale, feel the center expand. As you exhale, feel the center soften. Inhale the knees together. Bring the knees in towards the chest. Thread your arms between your legs and hold the outer shins or ankles. Can you bring the feet together and let the knees come apart? So you're in like Baddha Konasana on your back. And you can sort of hold the outer shins or ankles. Oh. Yeah, I wasn't, Siri, I actually wasn't talking to you, but thank you for interrupting. Does that happen to anyone? When I talk to Siri, I get no response. But there must be something in my, the way that I talk, whatever. So you're drawing your ankles towards you and your knees away from you. Can you feel that? I think knees more to the sides of the room. And then knees together. Give yourself a little hug in here. You can gently rock from side to side or in little circles or just be more still. And now feet to the floor, feet together. You can walk them out a little bit away from you and let the knees open apart. If you want to use blocks for this, that's fine. We're not going to be here super long. Just let the knees sort of fall open to the sides. And bring your hands to your belly, the low belly. And again, trace the breath with your awareness. The inhale draws the outer world in and takes it to heart. We connect the outer world to the heart. And then the exhale is an offering of the intrinsic love, wisdom, virtuosity of our hearts from inside out, as far and as wide as we can imagine. So there's an expansion of the heart on the exhale and an expansion of the imagination on the exhale. A deepening of inner vision and insight, a connection inward on the inhale, which ignites the heart, and an expansion of the indwelling light of the heart on the exhale. Sort of bathing in breath. The breath ignites the heart. The world calls for love. And the exhale is the heartfelt offering that fills us, surrounds us, and emanates far and wide, each one of us like a star in the sky. On the inhale, draw your knees together. One more time, hug the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself the sweetest, most loving embrace. Embrace the you that you are, the you that you were, all parts, and the you that you have yet to become. And release the legs, stretch your legs out long, reach your arms overhead, just mindful of props and neighbors, but really try to adjust yourself on your mat or adjust your props around your mat so that you can fully stretch. And as you inhale, stretch yourself from inside out, stretch through the legs, the toes, the arms, the fingers, let the breath percolate inside. And when you exhale, let it be an audible sigh, like a real release. 2 more like that. Give yourself permission to stretch yourself from inside out, making more space for more breath, more life, and then exhale, a clearing out to make more space for more breath, more energy, more life. And then release the arms down to the sides. Let the legs soften and settle. Let the breath breathe you. Scan your body with your awareness to see if there are any final poses, movements, or adjustments that you feel you need or want to make in order to feel completely prepared to fully relax. You can add or remove layers. You can add or remove props. Might do a heart bench, a little rolled up blanket underneath your shoulder blades, or a folded blanket under your calves. And imagine this rest could be so full and deep that you gain an hour. Time is a construct. Can let your hair down if you like, put your glasses safely off to the side. You can release your arms down to the sides, palms open, the fingers curl in, palms down if it helps you feel more grounded. You can also let the palms rest anywhere on your body in order to really find and feel and hold the breath in the palms of your hands. The jaw softens and the throat opens. We drink the breath in to the depths of our being, to our fullness. The breath ignites the heart, and we whisper the breath out, heartfelt, far and wide. And as best you can, give yourself permission to soften, to settle into the unconditional supportive gravity wherein we are all connected and held together. Allow yourself to become ever more fully open and receptive to the gift of life that each breath offers. And as you cultivate this intimacy with your breath, with the gift of your life, let the currents of your breath be your guide. Let your breath guide you, turn you into the sacred hub of your heart, the source of supreme love and divine wisdom, always present, intrinsically peaceful, utterly powerful. And allow your breath to guide you in sustaining your awareness of your connection to this source of virtuosity. At all cost. And what is the cost? It is absolutely free. And whenever the thoughts distract you, as is the nature of the mind, nothing wrong with this. Just gently guide your faculty of awareness again to the breath. And as best you can, for just the time being, let the breath hold your vision. Allow yourself to be supported by this demon of ignorance and forgetfulness, not necessarily intrinsically malevolent or evil, but in moments such as these, supporting your awareness of, your access to your highest self. And imagine how and why not to forget your highest self. When we are in and of the world. And that this highest self is universal and can be found in all beings. Imagine that. The eyes closed and a steady gaze inward, invite a slower, deeper, fuller breath in, and a slow, long, and complete breath out. Ride each breath to its extremes and allow the extremes to point you back to your center. Feel the spaces between each side of each breath and allow your awareness to expand, even to linger in those spaces between the top of the inhale and the beginning of the exhale, to occupy the space between the bottom of your exhale and the promise of your next inhale. The inhale turns you into your heart, and the exhale is the expansion, the offering of your heart from inside out. The breath ignites the heart, the splendor of your heart, and forms, illuminates, and inspires your mind and your body. And here in this gift of conscious breathing embodiment, let the spirit that you are begin to gently awaken, to stir and to stretch the body that you have, wiggling your toes and your fingers, gently stretching through your arms and your legs. And as the spirit that you are awakens the body that you have, let the body that you have embrace and affirm and adorn the spirit that you are, literally wrapping yourself around yourself. For this is, and you are, the gift of life. Again, when you're ready, bend your legs and feel both feet on the ground, and just take a moment here to call yourself down to earth, to call yourself back to reality, and to visualize the ways in which you stretch this practice of yoga into the activities of your daily life, in so doing having the greatest possible positive impact on those and the world around you. Imagine that. And again, when you're ready, you can gently roll to one side, press through strong arms, find your way into a comfortable seated position with the eyes closed and the hands folded before the heart in Anjali Mudra. And a final gesture of sincere self-reverence that again acknowledges and honors the voice of the true teacher, the source of supreme love and divine wisdom, never further than your heart, which is never further than your breath. And the gesture that places this aspect of ourselves, each and every one of us, together before us as a guide and an offering in all we do, in so doing bringing more love and wisdom and virtuosity to a world in need. Let's seal in our time together. Let's invoke blessings for ourselves and each other. Let's send the voices of our hearts particularly out to everyone who supports and serves our neighbor organization, Puentes de Salud. We offer our hearts. And beyond that, to anyone, anywhere where you know it is most needed, so many places, all together, in the form of a final Om. And of course, as always, feel free to join into the sound or let it wash over you. Deep breath in. As you bow to your heart with all my heart, I bow to every one of you. Thank you so much for your presence, for your practice, for your contribution to this wonderful neighborhood organization. And more than anything, I want to thank you all for all that you are and all that you do every single day of this life. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being together. Again, we have these sheets from Puentes de Salud, and they brought candles downstairs as nice gifts if you'd like to have one. Yeah. Oh, hi, you want to come on in? I didn't realize you were going to be here. Come on in. So this is our friend Juan from Puentes de Salud, and I think, do you want to say something to everyone? Should I come up? Yeah, you can come up. They might be like putting things away. I'm so sorry, I wasn't sure you were going to be here. Come on up.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for the fundraiser.
Yeah. Hi. This is Juan. If you have a moment for just a little bit more attention. Thank you.
I won't take much of your time. My name is Juan Marco Alvarez. I'm the development director of Puentes de Salud. Thank you very much, Mariel, for hosting this fundraiser. It's been 3 sessions, one on Friday, one on Saturday, and today's session. Very happy to see that it's more than full. But anyway, Fuentes is a unique nonprofit. It's on 17th and South Street. It focuses on providing health and well-being services through partnerships with medical students from Penn, from Jefferson, from Temple, to the Latino uninsured and undocumented community. And without this beacon of light, the Latino community will be in serious trouble in these days and times, as you know. I have brought some candles scented with lavender and thyme for you, courtesy of Corking Candles. They're downstairs in a table, and there's a 2-pager also about Fuentes de Salud, where you can learn a little bit more about what we do. Any additional donation would be much welcome. Thank you very much, and we hope to see you soon. By the way, there's a sign-up sheet downstairs. If you're interested in receiving a passcode to see a 1-hour HBO documentary on the clinic on Fuentes de Salud, please sign up, and you'll also receive. I have to work on it though, because I'm also doing communications. Our first newsletter.
Yes, and like, yeah. And I just hope, like, I hope it, like, warms your heart and serves as a great reminder that, like, we are doing great things, important things locally in our neighborhood. Yay. Like, yay to what everyone's doing. Do everything you can. Thanks, everyone.